everybody. I'm going to share some advice for those interested in learning how to communicate with their pets. I actually had a very specific request to make a video with some advice on this topic, so I'm doing that. For me, I could talk about the advice, but I think it would be really fun to tune into the universe and share some feedback that maybe I haven't thought of, or in a way that I could present it so that it could be received somehow differently than just human to human exchange. My guides are like, well, what's wrong with just talking about it? And I say, okay, if I were to talk about it, the first thing I would say is that your cat or your dog or your snake or your lizard or your pet tarantula, any pet that you have, communicates in the same way that a living or deceased human being, a soul, an angel, a demon, alien beings, a tree, all communicates the same. So sometimes, let's say we're in the presence of another human being who's quiet, and we get to wondering if they're okay inside of there because they're so quiet. And we might go to that human being to strike up a conversation. Hey, you doing okay? Why? Why do you say that? What do you, does it look like I'm not doing okay? Oh, sorry. I don't know. You were just quiet. I got some weird hunch that maybe there was something going on inside. I just want to make sure. Because that's how humans try to make sure we are okay. That's like human level stuff. Now, how about an animal that's not saying anything? Like, how do you go to your cat and like, you're really quiet. Are you okay? Hey, why are you acting all strange like that? Why you got a bad attitude today? How do you get the cat to respond? Like the human being's like, back off, I'm fine. Where are you going with this? You know? Or it's like, okay, I'm going to confess. I had the worst day ever. Bawling eyes out, telling everything. Could be anything, right? But we're not talking about in this human world trying to figure each other out. What's the tree saying? What's my cat saying when it stares at me? What's that person over there going through that they're not talking about because I decided there must be something wrong with them? What are you even picking up on? Is it something wrong with them or something wrong with yourself? Like, it's a very interesting world we live in. That's a human world where we try to interpret things. Now to actually develop the sixth sense level interpretation, you have to silence a lot of the human world. So I have a dog, a Bernese Mountain Dog, Neo. And it's been quite interesting because when I do a journey into Neo, that's my technique for communicating with anything in the universe. Like, I silence the human world, so I'll close my eyes, get still, like I do in a lot of my videos. When I do a journey, I just get still. And then I as a consciousness, I as a spark, okay, it's going to feel very creative, but I allow information to flow into me. I'm just like a pool. And then from within that pool, information develops, okay? So I would sit in this chair here where Neo is not in the room. So I don't have to be close to my dog to get that sixth sense communication. In fact, to be separated, so I do everything at a distance because everything is inside myself. I need the silence in order to listen to, hear, and translate the information because Neo is inside myself. Your pet is inside yourself. We all are inside each other. So you're all inside me, okay? I'm inside of you. It's so weird, isn't it? They were all part of the same ocean of all things. All things. Everything is all in the same ocean and we're part of the same ripples. So now it is of the heart. You'd mentioned that. I heard, you said that you had heard that the best way to communicate with your pet is a heart-to-heart communication. That's the best way to communicate with everything, is heart-to-heart. And recently I was talking about it, but sometimes I reference it, about how you want to be heart-centered and you want to interpret things from the heart, but it's really like your heart brain, your whole body is your brain, because I can't interpret everything on a human scale. Like, I need on a human scale to be able to bring the information through to a human world. I am then human, and I accept that. So when you communicate with a pet, you're bringing the information into yourself, and then you're going to experience a flow of information, and you're going to feel it everywhere. Okay, you're going to feel the information everywhere, and it's going to bring up feelings, it's going to bring up thoughts, it's going to bring up voice, it's going to bring up the sacredness of life or the desecration of life, a root. And when I've gotten to know Neo, I got to see his soul having gone through a really, really difficult time before entering into this life as a dog. Almost like required a life as a dog in order to transform or work through a lot of pain and suffering that his soul had gone through in this other life. But I've seen other lifetimes with Neo, and Neo's a pretty interesting guy, you know? He's a dog, but he's a soul, he's alien being, he's everything. So your pet is everything too, just in the form of your pet right now. Is a person, is an alien, is an angel, is everything. All right, so I said all that stuff. This is why I tell my guides, if I start talking, I won't know where to begin or where to end, because I feel like I'm in the pot of 1,000 pieces of information and I don't know how to simplify it. So sometimes if I could just get some help here, help me, people. All right. So I'm just going to get grounded again. All right. So now you're wanting to have a conversation with an animal. This is why you're watching this video. I am going to talk about myself as an example. I'm in this chair, Neo's downstairs. And what I would do, just like I would do with anything, is I would be silent. And it would clear my mind with everything I ever thought I knew about Neo the dog. So you would sit in a space all of your own and clear your mind of everything you know about your pet, because you don't really know your pet. You think you know your pet. You know your pet only in so much as you know that it's a cat or it's a tarantula or whatever. You don't really know the extraordinariness of the spark that is within that animal. So you would relax. So I just relax, and then I open my heart for information. This is where I'm going to ask my guides, what's the best way to help you figure out how to do this without too much thought? How do you open your heart to your pet? All right, they say your heart is open to your pet. And now find yourself in a space. It could be your own home. It could be a place outside in the woods. It could be by a lake or an ocean or somewhere familiar. And now see your pet actually in that space. So there's my Bernese Mountain Dog, or there's your Siamese cat, or there's your, there's your pet. Now look at your pet. You are basically an all-seeing eye, but you're just an energy body, you're an invisible body, but you're watching your pet in your house, and you're actually just sitting down, literally just sitting down with your eyes closed, like you're imagining things, okay? But you're not. You're actually moving your consciousness into another dimensional space where you and your pet can build a connection with one another that is beyond your imagination, okay? Even though it's going to feel like you're using your imagination and you're just making this stuff up, you're not making this stuff up, because you didn't put every detail into the scene. The details will start to appear in there unexpectedly so. All right, so I'm telling my guides, step 1, sit down, silence everything you think you know about your pet, close your eyes, go into a space, home, woods, lakeside, ocean, whatever. See your pet there. Now what do you recommend? So your pet is in your heart, you are heart-centered, you are connecting, you are tuning into them. Okay. This is where it gets interesting. This is why I'm asking my guides for help, because I want you to be successful at this. And I know that there's this point when you start opening up to a psychic experience where you're going to either let things flow or you're not. Okay, so you're going to let things flow, all right? So what I do is I just start describing. In my pretend scene, my example, which doesn't include Neo apparently, I'm in somebody's house and there's a Siamese cat sitting there. And their house is oddly pink. There's a lot of sunshine coming in. It just makes me think of bubblegum, like really good pink bubblegum. And I see the cat is actually trying to get me to go into the kitchen. And as soon as I walk into the kitchen, everything's changing. And I say, wait a second, where did you go? Why is there no kitchen here? Why am I standing in a completely dark space? But I feel the cat in my heart, and I feel this space is important. I feel this space is important to our bond and to how we're learning and growing together as two living beings. And this is the precious part about why we're living this life together. So you can't judge the way things change. You can't judge the way things look. I didn't know I didn't even know that was a kitchen because I couldn't see it. Everything in my heart said there's a kitchen in there, just through that door. This cat, I didn't see every single detail. I just saw the cat's head just go like yank over that way. And I was like, okay. And so then I follow the cat. Within a second, I'm through that door into this kitchen I couldn't even see was there. And everything is black now. So I'm standing in darkness, but everything in my heart is saying, in this darkness, there is this beautiful blessing of love and bond. And this love and bond is almost impossible to see because it's so special that even the human mind can't comprehend it. And so we feel then love. And then I just sit with that. So that is what you would do to achieve a level of communication with your pet that's going to blow your freaking mind. Then it's going to be different because it might be outside the realm of logic. It might be a little too creative, but I'm telling you, creativity comes before logic. Because logic couldn't be born without a brilliant outside-the-box idea. Then from that brilliant outside-the-box idea, we try to work with it in our material world and build it into our reality. So now we're working with the brilliant idea as a material thing, right? And then we believe that that's the only thing that makes any logical sense. And hopefully don't hold on to that brilliant idea for too long because, then we're not going to allow any new brilliant ideas to come in. And then we remove creativity from our world and make it rigid and boring and the same, refusing to ever grow because it's creativity that is the infinite spark. It's look at the world, like look at every different kind of flower. Is it creative? Was it logical? Maybe it's a little of both, right? But we have to use our creativity because that's part of our spark, our soul. And then the creativity guides us into the interpretation that is now like, oh, I get it. Wow, it's a delicious pink bubblegum space with a quirky Siamese cat that is leaning his head over here. So I just follow and now I'm in this darkness. But in the darkness, I feel so much benevolent love, like incomprehensible to even see because it can only be felt truly. Is that the message? That's what I'm supposed to know today? But what if my cat I know isn't feeling good, or my pet isn't feeling good? Then how do I navigate that? How do I do animal communication with that? All right, so this is a starting point for how you go deep. And you can get to know your relationship with your pet for across all time and space, okay? And you can get to know that relationship and it'll blow your mind. And it'd be very cool. But we want to bring it back to earth a little bit more. So, for instance, if I have a client asking about the well-being of a pet, they can kind of interpret and let me know some nuances about it. But even with human beings, it's like, oh, I've got this stomach condition. Well, this stomach condition might not actually be a stomach condition. It might be some kind of emotional distortion, a rip in the soul. It could be anything that then has a natural physical development then into a stomach condition. So we start from somewhere, the best that we could logically understand. But it's not the logic that's going to get us there. It's the open-mindedness. All right, so you want to know if your pet feels physically good or not. And same technique, right? And you just sit down. See your pet in a familiar space. And then I'm going to ask my guides, and then what do we do? Because I want you to be successful at this. Okay. This is where they say you have to expand your sensory skills. Because this is not expanding your thought-based skills. You got enough thought-based skills. You got to expand your sensory skills. So now you go to your pet and you just look at your pet in your home, or look at your pet in, I don't know, by a stream, or wherever you want to stand and see your pet. It's not about having clear detail. It's just about being in the presence of a space. The sense of the space is like my home, but I can't see it in crisp detail. It doesn't have to be seen in crisp detail. To know what's there, and to know you're there, and to know your pet is there. Okay. This is where you expand your heart, your emotions, and you place your invisible hand on your pet in this scene. Inside yourself, right? We're just playing pretend, but we aren't. That's the trick. You're not actually playing pretend because you don't know the answer. You seek to know the answer. Playing pretend is, oh, it'd be so nice to ... Imagining yourself smiling in some hot Ferrari in this cool beach house and blah, blah, blah. That is playing pretend, but that's also powerful too. That's working with a high vibrational energy, putting yourself into that energy and telling the universe, I'd love to see myself in this experience, without saying, I wish I could have a Ferrari at a beach house. And then you're telling the universe, I'm miserable and I don't have the things that I want. So playing pretend is very, very powerful thing to do. All right, we don't know the answer, we seek to know the answer, so you can't put the information there. You have to allow the information to come to you. We just start somewhere. All this is a starting point. And now we let this flow, okay? Let the information flow. So, put your hand on your pet and just pet your pet, you know? Just like, I love you. It's really nice to be with you. Are you feeling okay? And you don't have to speak that so much as send the signal. Send the vibration, right? The vibration of, I care about your well-being. How are you feeling today? Is there anything I can do for you? You suddenly might get an image of food, or you might get an image of playing with them, or you might get an image or even a sensation of, like, it could be the sensation of tasting a really delicious soup, and it's like, but you're a tarantula, you don't eat soup. Oh, food? Are you hungry? See, this is where you're going to be like, I don't know what this means. So you don't attach your mind to it, but you can ask questions. Like, okay, let me just sit with this. I get a sensation of really delicious soup. And I feel that the soup brings me peace. And I feel that it's not necessarily about soup so much as the comfort and peace. And then you place this energy upon your pet. Because it's not necessarily what we think they would need. It's not necessarily logical. And you place the energy upon your pet, and your pet then receives it, absorbs it into their energy field, and now receives what is like their own idea of delicious soup and peace and comfort. And there's this big exhale that you get to feel that your pet just exhaled. A lot of pain, perhaps, stress, if they're definitely not feeling good. And you start with these little episodes, and you let the episodes just be what they are. It could be just 2 minutes of your time, and it could be quite creative and a little bit strange. And you have to learn how to let yourself be part of the body brain, okay? You have to be part of, okay, I get this flow of the comfort that this hot soup is bringing me into a cold environment. I have a cold, hot soup, makes me feel better as a human being. It's not necessarily that the tarantula needs hot soup. It just needs like the energy of it, the flow of it to help it feel better. So we don't really know what's going to come forward. You just have to let yourself be in a silent place, renouncing the human world for a minute. Not about all the thoughts, because we all know how to do that thing. But do we know how to silence the thoughts, and do we know how to get heart-centered? Do we know how to be still and present with our pet in another way? Our pet as a living energy inside ourselves then guides us to understand the reflective mirror of what this pet individually needs, but what our relationship is with the pet is pretty wonderful to discover. So my best advice is to just try these steps. I'm going to see if my guides have anything else to say. They asked me if I feel like I did a good job, and I say, well, I think so. I mean, I want people to be successful. So part of what makes me feel like I've done a good job is feeling like I nailed it and you're going to be successful. But something inside me says this takes practice. So the one thing that you have to do is practice. And I can't decide who's going to be good at this or not, because I can't decide who's going to choose to practice it. So, and now I can say I did a good job because I said everything to the best of my ability. And now I reminded everybody that practice is important. And this is actually a fun adventure. So yeah, thank you so much for the question. It was nice actually sitting with that. I really enjoyed this. I'd love to see you give it a try. You'll have to let us know in the comments if it works for you, what your experience is. And if you're someone just passing by trying this out, what's your experience? What kind of pet do you have? What comes up for you? 1, 2 minutes, 5 minutes? It doesn't have to be a marathon experience. You just let things flow, okay? And you just let it be as odd as it needs to be. And then be mindful of the nuances that come forward in the experience, because it's more than just one thing and then one thing and then one thing. It could be, here's the sensation of a bowl of soup while I also am eating it, while I'm also confused that the pet doesn't eat soup. And then I'm feeling a memory of being cold when I was a kid and having chicken noodle soup and how it made me feel better. And now I'm in this place of peace and comfort. And now I'm adding it all up that, wow, this is a really nice energy. I'm going to share this energy with the pet because I needed it. They need it. We all need it, you know? And so we don't have to really know so much articulately as we know something in a way that is still very meaningful. And this is still very beginner, right? is we want to go advanced. We can go advanced, but that takes practice, right? You can't really interpret advanced until you practice. So, all right. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little message. Hope it helps. If I could do a journey into your pet for you, please book a session. You can book 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes. I'd be happy to experience your pet's energy, share with you what it's like for me, the adventures we're taking together, bring you into the scene, help you feel a part of it too, learn some stuff. It's going to be meaningful. So if you'd like to book a session, you can at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Have a wonderful day.